It was one of those nights where the world outside felt alive with chaos. The kind of night where thunder crashes so loud it shakes your chest, and the rain pelts against the windows like it's trying to get in. I had just gotten home from work, exhausted, drained, and ready to spend the rest of the night cocooned in the comfort of my bed. I was in my room, curled up with a blanket, scrolling through my phone as the TV played in the background. But this storm, it was different. Something about it made me feel on edge. I couldn't put my finger on it, but every rumble of thunder sent a chill down my spine. About 20 minutes into the storm, I heard something odd. A noise, faint but distinct. It sounded like it was coming from downstairs. At first, I told myself it was nothing, just the house settling or the wind rattling something loose. I tried to ignore it, but you know how your mind plays tricks on you when you're already nervous? The more I thought about it, the more uneasy I felt. Finally, I decided to check it out, grabbing my phone for light, because no way was I turning on the overhead lights and giving myself away to whoever or whatever might be down there. I crept out of my room. The floorboards creaked under my feet, and I winced, trying to move as quietly as possible. When I reached the bottom of the stairs, I looked around the dimly lit living room. Everything seemed fine. Nothing was out of place. Still, that gnawing feeling in my stomach wouldn't go away. I walked to the kitchen, grabbed a glass of water, and forced myself to take a deep breath. It's just the storm, I told myself. You're being ridiculous. Feeling slightly more at ease, I went back upstairs to my room. I settled into bed, thinking that was the end of it. But then, just as I started to relax, I heard it again. This time, it wasn't a faint noise. It was loud and unmistakable. The sound of something falling over. My heart jumped into my throat. I knew that sound. It was the lamp in the living room. That old, unstable lamp I always bumped into when I wasn't paying attention. But here's the thing. I wasn't down there to bump into it. Nobody was. The storm raged outside as I sat frozen in my bed, debating whether I should go back downstairs. Every rational part of me said it was probably nothing. Maybe the wind rattled the house hard enough to knock it over. But a deeper part of me, a part one couldn't ignore, whispered that something was wrong. Gripping my phone tightly, I forced myself to move. Step by step, I descended the staircase, the faint glow of my phone lighting the way. As I entered the living room, my heart sank. The lamp was on the floor, just as I'd expected. But what I didn't expect was the strange, almost imperceptible sound that followed. It was like breathing, soft, shallow, and coming from somewhere close. I froze, my breath caught in my chest. The room felt impossibly dark, the shadows stretching and shifting with every flash of lightning outside. Slowly, I turned toward the direction of the sound. My eyes scanned the room, searching for anything out of place. At first, I didn't see anything. But then, in the corner of the room, just beyond the edge of the light from my phone, I saw it. A figure. It was barely visible, blending almost seamlessly with the shadows. My heart pounded as I tried to make sense of what I was seeing. Was it real? Was it just my imagination? Another flash of lightning lit up the room, and in that brief moment, I saw it clearly. Someone was standing there, completely still, watching me. I don't know how long I stood there, frozen in fear. It felt like an eternity. Finally, something inside me snapped, and I bolted back upstairs, slamming my bedroom door shut and locking it behind me. My hands were shaking so badly I could barely type as I called the police. I tried to explain what had happened, but my voice kept breaking. They told me to stay on the line and that an officer was on the way. I stood there, pressed against the door, listening intently for any sound from downstairs. The storm outside roared on, the thunder drowning out everything else. But then, through the noise, I heard it. Slow, deliberate footsteps on the stairs. They were coming up. I whispered into the phone, begging the dispatcher to tell me how much longer it would be. She assured me they were almost there, but her words felt distant, like they weren't enough to reach me in my terror. The footsteps grew louder, closer, until they stopped just outside my door. I held my breath, every muscle in my body tensed. And then, the doorknob started to turn. Before I could even react, the sound of sirens filled the air. The flashing red and blue lights outside were like a beacon of hope cutting through the darkness. Whoever was on the other side of that door must have heard it too, because the doorknob stopped moving. There was a moment of silence, and then the footsteps retreated, faster this time, back down the stairs. By the time the police entered the house, the intruder was gone. They searched every room, every closet, but there was no sign of anyone. The only evidence that something had happened was the lamp on the floor and a single muddy footprint near the back door. But every time there's a storm, I can't help but feel that same unease, like the shadows are watching, waiting, and I'll never forget the sound of those footsteps on the stairs.